Okay, Nick, this is what I do with my pictures. Assuming that you have downloaded your pictures onto your computer, open up the picture files, go to pictures, pick the folder that we've just done, which is down here. I will then double click on that picture, which will take it to like a Windows gallery thing. Click on edit and organize, and then I delete the pictures from here. Some people download everything onto their Lightroom and then delete from there, but I like to try and keep as much stuff out of Lightroom as I can and only put in the stuff that I actually want to keep or potentially keep. So literally just go through, have a look, see if it's any good. If it is, go onwards. If it's a bit blurred, delete it. And then I'll go through all the pictures I've taken today, and then assuming that I've got some at the end, I then upload them to Lightroom. Right, and so we've come to the end of all the pictures that I want to use, and we're left with 10. So now they're obviously in the folder that we downloaded the pictures from. There was 45 originally. We're down to the 10 that I want to take into Lightroom to see if I'm then going to keep those. So I just come out of that completely. Right, go into Lightroom. Wait for that to open up. Click on the button that says import, and this will bring up a list of your folders in your pictures. We then open up today's date, which is obviously the one we've just done. I always uncheck all and then check all just to make sure they're all checked. I then put custom text in, and I will put the today's date in, and then birding. I generally used exactly the same title that I've used to load the pictures into my pictures. So I've done that, and then just click import. See in the top left hand corner that it's working on how it's doing it. Copy and import. Task completed. So there's your pictures. If you've got a lot of pictures and you find that they're all under or overexposed, you can bulk change them. You've got exposure, clarity and vibrance. I very rarely use this, but you know, if you've got 150 pictures and you find that they're all overexposed or underexposed, you can just literally change them all at this point by varying degrees. I then go into develop, so at the top right hand corner, click on that, and then it breaks up. See down the bottom you've got your list of your 10 pictures, and it brings up each one. Okay, what I then do is, first thing I do is I'll zoom in to make sure that it's a reasonable picture. I'll then click on this box here, which is a crop, and what that does, that allows you to make the box the size of the picture that you want. And then you click on done. This is a zoomed in version, so if you just click on it again, it will bring it back to the normal version. Then I click on basic on the right hand side, and then I fiddle about. So I've got exposure, so to me that's a little bit over, so I'll go under a touch. Always like to add a bit of contrast. In theory, at this point, what you do is you put your finger on the Alt key, the ALT key, and then when you've done that, you then left click on whites. As you can see, that brings the screen to black. You then move your whites up until you start seeing a few little dots, and then you stop. So that in theory is the right amount of whites. You then click on your Alt key again, keeping it pushed down, click on your blacks, takes it white, so then you go to your left with your blacks until you start seeing a few little dots, and that in theory is your blacks and your whites sorted out. I always add a little bit of clarity, and I like to add a little bit of saturation. Right, so that's your basic lightening and darkening, etc. That's your basic. So you come out of basic, click on it and it brings it back. Go to detail, and this gives you your sharpening aspect. What I like to do, I like to zoom in as best you can, so that's on 1:1. Me personally, I've normally got it on 2:1, so you can really get a good close-up. And then I just add a little bit of sharpening, just if it needs it. And then obviously you've got, as you can see, this area here, you've got quite a bit of noise there, so I use that. Click on the luminescence or luminance, and then go up until this bit here goes a bit smoother. Then you can pretty much say that your noise is gone. Obviously, the more noise you reduce, or the more noise you get rid of, the less detail you've got in the picture. And a picture like this is quite difficult because it's the colour of the stones behind it. Anyway, that is that picture done. So then what I do, go on to the next picture, make a decision. That's nowhere near as good as the other one. Delete it. Delete from disk. Then look at the next picture. Managed to do all the others while you was away making a cup of tea. So this is the last one. Do I want to keep the fly in? Probably not. So basic, it's pretty perfect for exposure. A little bit of contrast, a little bit of whites, a little bit of blacks, a little bit of clarity, a little bit of saturation. Go into your detail, which does your sharpening. Zoom that in. You can change the zoom there. You've got 2:1, 2:1 evens, like 1:1. So you just click on that, roll it forward. Sharpening. This is a bit more subtle than the Windows sharpener, but it does an okay job. I'm sure there's something better in Photoshop which I don't know how to use. But yeah, so that's that. So we're now in a situation where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pictures out of the 10 which we're going to keep. And obviously because I shoot in RAW, they're always there available to go back, and you can still bugger about with them if you want to, because it shows you what you've cropped so far. It should show you what you've cropped so far. There you go. Right, so we've done that. Then what we do is click on Library again. Going back to the library, click on the block there down the bottom to make sure that you've got them all. So if you've only got one, then you'll only export one. This is when you're going to export them. You just make sure that they're all there. So Control and A, that highlights them all. You then click on Export. I export to my hard drive. This is where you're going to need to mess about with what you want to do, changing the names and files and stuff. I export again to the file name that I've been using all along, 220914 birding, and then you've got the watermarking option where I call it Tony O copy, but it's copyright Tony Orwell. And then that exports. Now what I've set up a folder on my desktop called Facebook, where these files which are being exported now all go into, so that then when I want to use Facebook and use some of the pictures that I've taken, they're directly in that file and I've not got to hunt through my pictures for them. All of the pictures that I keep are now stored within Lightroom, so I suppose in theory you could delete them from the hard drive, although I'm not really sure if they're linked together, so I wouldn't want to do that and find that I've lost them all. Always ask you if you want to back up, and I back up every now and then. And then there you go, I've got a folder called Facebook, and it's got all of the pictures that I've taken over the last sort of week or so, and then every now and then I then put them into my birding folder where I've got different folders. And there you have it. I hope it's been of some use. Let us know if you need any more help.